Now let's talk about when to quit. So I believe in natural endings. Whether you're dealing with a client from hell, show in the link in the show notes below, or playing a sport, finding a natural conclusion is the best way to quit. That can be the conclusion to the season or the conclusion to a project, or it can just be 2 weeks notice, depending on your job. I will say this is totally free. Side note. I don't believe in giving more than 2 weeks notice because I've seen too many people actually get hurt and things end well when they give a long drawn out notice. But that's just my 2 cents. Let's have some coffee while we're at it. And let's keep going. So here are 3 tips to decide when to quit. Toxic environment or client. If you are in a place that is just destroying your heart, soul, and energy, it is not sustainable and you need to leave. If you're in a place that is not equipping you to grow, but is actually diminishing you, then decide to quit. Yes, think through the process. When you aren't in a state of high emotion, then make your decision. You should always have a plan in place when you quit. Ask yourself, what are the next steps once I make this decision? If you're just dropping a difficult client, it may have no effect on you. But if you're quitting a full-time job, this will have a major impact on you and your family. So make the decision very carefully. Number 2, after research, thought, and counsel. Never quit on a whim or flippantly. As much as that would satisfy that revenge part of our personalities, it's not going to serve you well in the long term. And it is really important to think through your decision, do your research, and ask for advice. These things are incredibly important. Whenever you decide to quit, it will affect you, possibly negatively in the short term. So make sure you are prepared for this impact. Whether that is to save a certain amount of money, make plans to move, or get your resume up to date. All of these can have a negative impact on you in the short term. In the long term, I think is probably the best decision you can make. But in the short term, plan for those things that are going to negatively impact you in the short term. So think through the ramifications of your decision. How can you lessen these negative impacts, and what steps do you need to take to prepare for the change? Number 3, you should quit if it will be better for your family. At different times throughout our marriage, my husband has changed jobs, not always because it was the best career move, but it was better for our family. So when I decided to start my virtual assistant business, this was made in large part because it would be better for my family. It was better to move from being a corporate workhorse to momtrepreneur. Link in the notes below. So that is actually why I call myself an accidental entrepreneur. It's much more comfortable working for someone else. I'll be honest, people who are you're just supporting someone else's vision if you're not making, casting your own vision. I'm totally fine with that. I really am. So it's easy when you're in a place of just executing the ideas and vision of someone else. And I'm really good at that. And I didn't have to come up with those things on my own. And I didn't need to worry about my paycheck. It was always there. But it was better for my family for me to step out of my comfort zone, be my own boss, raise my kids, and enjoy my life. And the link to download that workbook is in the show notes below.